What's up, everybody? This is the Clearing the Air podcast with D and Q,
I'm D.
and I'm Q. And yo, today we just want to talk about the Plies Instagram post, his latest post.
Your boy
Uh,
Plies, baby.
yeah, I gotta say, I think Plies has been one of the first, I say, hip hop artists to really kind of like go on his Instagram, go live, or do a video and kind of do his own like podcast. You know what I mean? So and he's not talking about like dumb topics. Like he's talking about stuff that happens in everyday life. So I really
Some
appreciate
were
it.
kind of silly and I wouldn't
Yeah,
say dumb, but you know.
yeah, yeah,
but
some
he'll
could
have
be.
some but he'll have some serious joints on there too. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah,
I even think even the dumb ones, I mean, you got to remember social media is about engagement. He's going to
right,
get the engagement either way.
correct.
But look,
Very
without further ado, let's just hop into what he said, and then we're gonna kind of leave a few comments on things, and I'd love to hear what y'all think. So let's jump into this real quick.
I know some of y'all finna say, "Ah, there he go again." I don't know what he talking about, but this is just a personal belief of mine. I don't believe you can love me if you ain't spiritually right. If you ain't spiritually right, I don't believe you can love me. And I've always told myself that. And I'm gonna tell you why I think and believe and said what it is that I just said. Because to me, in my mind, you got to be spiritually right, in my opinion, to be able to even produce
Mm.
love. Love is spirituality to me. I feel they hand in hand. And I don't believe, not just me, I don't believe anybody can love someone else if they ain't spiritually right. I already know. I already know. Now, I already know some of y'all say, go ahead, Kirk. Shut up, Kirk. This ain't one of my Kirk moments. Shout out to Kirk, but this ain't one of my Kirk moments. But this is just a personal belief of mine. And I'm curious to see how y'all feel about it. But I know some people probably don't view it and look at it that way. But I've always told myself that, man, if this person ain't spiritually right, just in my mind, I've always told myself it's no way possible that they can really love me.
So we'll stop it there. Um, it was like 15 seconds left. I'll just ask this question: do you agree or disagree?
um well, I believe there needs to be a little bit of context, a little clarity. A couple things. One, when you read comments, a lot of the comments, people were thinking that he was talking about self-love. Like, you can't really fully love somebody else if you don't love yourself or if you don't have the proper love for yourself. I didn't necessarily get that from what he was
Mhm.
saying because he was
Right.
saying the spiritual part. So,
Yes.
but although I do agree with that, I'm not sure if that's what he was talking about. What I think he was talking about is, you know, trying to, like, show the correlation between love and spirituality. So what I took from that was, I believe, you can have love for someone and not necessarily be spiritual. But I think that if you are in love or want to be in love with somebody, then yeah, those two things probably need to align. For instance, I can have friends or family members who are not the most spiritual people, but I know they have love for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now, if it's somebody that I'm in love with, seriously dating, married to, in a relationship with, then yeah, I think um, because spirituality is important to me and it's a big part of my life, I would think that that person, you know, would have to have some sort of spirituality in them so we could just kind of be aligned, kind of equally yoked, like they say. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, so I that's what I took from what he was saying. I just needed to know, was he saying like to be like in love with somebody or just to have love for somebody?
Yeah.
Those were the two things that stuck out with me.
So I and keeping in the same vein that you're saying, I don't think he was talking about having love. So I think that's where you have to, because what first thing I was gonna say is you got to understand the context. And again, we're speaking from making an assumption of what that context is.
Right.
How I took it as what I thought Plies was meaning is the same thing you said. Like, but I didn't think it was like if my grandmother or my this or my that. Um, I was taking it as if like if I'm gonna be with you, man, woman, husband, wife, you know, significant other, yo, you have to be spiritual in some form of fashion.
Right.
And it does go back to the what you said, the equally yoke, which is, for those who don't know, that's a scripture in Bible. I think the Apostle Paul had mentioned that if you're going to be married to somebody, to be equally yoked.
Right.
We're not going to get into that
Right.
too deep because there's another side to that.
Right.
But I think when you went there and said the in love piece, I don't even know if he was thinking like separating in that sense, but I would imagine if you're going to be with somebody, you want to be in love with them.
Right.
And a lot of times when I'm, for me, when I'm talking to my kids or even talking to my wife and I'm trying to explain the love of God, I use earthly relationships to try to tie that together because it's hard for people to say, well, how can I love a God and that God love me when I see on earth broken relationships? So it's hard for me to imagine somebody I've never seen, somebody I've never met, blah, blah, blah. Again, not trying to get too deep spiritually in this conversation, but just trying to say, I would agree with that. I think there does need to be, because I feel like it takes it to the next level.
Right.
Meek Mill said there's levels to this thing. And it is. I feel like when you're able to forgive a person, and I'm not talking about obviously, someone who does things that is capable of sabotaging the relationship. It's just in day-to-day stuff. I do stuff that gets on my wife's nerves. She do things that may get on my nerves. I don't even look at it that way, but and so when that time comes, we can get upset. People can get upset about the smallest things or the biggest things. Small things turn into big things. But I think I would agree because if I feel like and it doesn't matter, like we did a podcast talking about like people who have changed in their everyday life, like for example BD Siegel, he's Muslim now. I don't think it's tied to a particular religion. I feel like a lot of time what religion does is it gives people a base, a foundation.
Mhm.
And again, that's to another level because it's higher than you. It's higher than what you've seen in the earthly realm type of a situation. For us, it's the Christian walk.
Right.
But I do feel like it. I agree with him. Long story short. Um,
And all that was excellent. And I think that's the reason why he said spirituality. He didn't say a specific religion. He said spirituality. So it could be Muslim. It could be Christianity. It could be,
Whatever.
yeah, Buddhism, whatever it is. He said spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's spirituality. And, it, I think it is it stems from that foundation, bro. When you getting to know somebody and learn somebody, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, things are going to be easier if you have certain philosophy, morals, values, viewpoints on things. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's what I got from that. You know what I mean? That's what I thought the point he was trying to make. And if that's was indeed the point he was trying to make, then yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I think it'll definitely, make it easier. You know what I'm saying? Like if, you know, I mean, let's be real, bro. We both profess, Christianity. So, we would like our significant others to have that same, to share that same philosophy. It'll make it easier, right?
Right. Right.
Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we seen relationship where, let's say, one person is heavy into, their spirituality, whatever it may be, and then the other person is not, and they out in the streets or they out blah blah blah. That situation may have trouble lasting. You know what I'm saying? Because your ideologies are so different, your philosophies are different, your morals are different, your values are different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if that's what he was trying to, if that's the context in which he was talking about, then I agree.
And the one of the other thing I would mention is, trying to. I've never been a person to think that you should try to change people. If people are going to change, they're going to do that on their own. So I think that's another thing. Because some people might say, well, what if you're just not into it, and that, a person is maybe intrigued because of what you believe. I don't even think that he's at that point, because I think what he's saying is he's looking for somebody to already be at a particular level. And, some people can get upset about that. But to me, that's like saying that, and this is, some people might get upset with me, ladies. That's like a woman saying, well, I want a guy to have a certain income, hey, whether I agree with that or not, I respect it, because I can understand a woman saying, okay, you understand the role of a man. And so therefore, hey, I want to live a certain kind of way. Again, that's that foundational, fundamental stuff that you say you upfront, what you require or need or what you're looking for, and trying to, you could eliminate a lot of frustration if you can agree on what you want and where you feel like another person should be. So I think I would agree with him, and not have their mindset that, well, no, I'll change a person into, because if they love me enough, they'll change. Well, that can go both ways. If you love a person enough, the person might feel like you shouldn't push me. So I agree with that. I agree with that. But bro, you got any other thoughts on this?
Nah, man. Like I said, if that was the context in which he was referring to, you know, I think it was a good conversation piece. Definitely a
I
good
think it's a good conversation piece too. It's definitely, and I would say this is one of those dating type conversations. Like, before you get too serious with somebody, have these type of conversations. But we curious to know what y'all think. Do you agree with this? If you do, why? If you don't agree with it, why not? Do you have a situation or know of a situation where, not necessarily polar opposites, but you didn't agree with this and you engaged in a relationship and things have been working out, or they did work out, and maybe something else broke it apart? We love to hear from you. Once again, this is another Clearing the Air episode with D and Q, and we just got finished talking about the Plies Instagram post. Hey, we're going to see y'all soon and talk to you at the next episode. Take care.
Peace.